Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and today I'm going to go over some of my portable tool kind of mobility solutions. I have a whole bunch of different things that I use to put tools in for various jobs and travel, and I thought I'd go over just some quick pros and cons amongst them. The simplest are these bags. I really like, in fact, this particular Milwaukee bag, a long one, especially with long ratchets and screwdrivers, and I actually use multiple bags. That allows a lot more like storage solutions if I'm putting them in my truck, or of course I can drop all the bags into some larger container. But I definitely am a fan of kind of the soft-sided bags. Tool rolls are another thing. I've had several of the higher quality, nice ones. I don't like them. I'm not a tool roll fan. One is you've got to lay them down and unroll them in order to get the different tools out. I've had some where if you shook them hard, a tool would launch out of the side of it. It also requires certain size tools, so then you have to put stuff in like little wrenches, and where do you put the sockets in the tool roll? Tiny screwdrivers, things like that. So I'm not a big fan of those guys. I have kind of some buckets. This one and then another bucket. I'm going to point out the differences here between these. I really like this guy here. This is it's an old Craftsman Professional one. I got this a long time ago. I like the center handle. I have trouble finding the straps on this guy, and I can't leave it together. Then it's hard to get things like drills in and out. This has way too few pockets. This thing should be just caked with pockets. And if you use any of those like bucket bosses or those things that you put in the 5-gallon buckets, those are just amazing for a lot of jobs. But I do like this one. It's got pockets and slots on the inside, outside. I don't really use the shoulder straps much for anything. It's long enough that I can drop some longer ratchets in there, as well as drills, etc. But if you look at this, if I'm taking a drill, I often just set them in upside down like that. This is a lot easier to work with the drill than this thing here, especially if I get into a larger drill. I can see in certain situations that maybe you want something nice and tall like this. I mean, it's well built. It's a good box. I just can't get that much into it. And then it's a little harder to work with, and like I said, it should have pockets all over. So this is like my go-to. I like grabbing this thing and getting some work done. You can go with like tool bags, like this. What is that guy? That's a Mac. I've got Milwaukees. Take those out. I have a bunch of different kinds like this, different sizes. Here's an old Black & Decker. I like these for a couple of reasons. One is they can be squished down in order to only take up as much room as the volume of tools. And that's in things like this, like the Craftsman here or that Klein, they have a volume that's pretty much fixed. Whereas this, I could load up with tools and then literally squish it down to take out any extra space that I'm not using, versus something that's more solid and large. And that was the problem when we used the old toolboxes. Didn't matter if you had nothing in it or it was packed to the gills, it took up exactly the same space. So that's why I'm a fan of the softer side stuff. And I have these up to great big large ones that would hold a chainsaw, and I'm quick to use them. I wish some of them are easier to zip than others. I like zips on both sides if they have them. You notice here with these zippers that there is a huge difference in tooth size. That's important in the long run, because these smaller ones end up just blowing out. Milwaukee uses larger ones. Milwaukee here has a pull tab, makes it easier to close. These are called gate mouths usually. Big nice pull tab there. So that's important to make it easier to open and close them. But very fast. I do like the pockets on the outside, although I don't use them a whole lot. but I want to be able to, like if I've got a handful of screws or something, to just quickly drop them in. Milwaukee's got kind of their Pack Out series, which are sort of a combination. You know, it's a soft-sided with a firm bottom. Still has a bunch of volume, but I'm starting to really like these. Uses a two-way zipper, so I do finally have the ability to open it on either side or close it with whatever I grab. Or if you have them opposite here, you can yank it open with one hand. No pockets on the inside, and it does have these webbing ladders in different places, so you could attach different things. It's got two pockets on the aft. Very, very well designed. I'm a fan. Stuff like this. I wish it had some smaller, like, security pockets in it, but I use these things when I don't want stuff squished down, and that's usually with sharps, drill bits, electronics, stuff like that, for these this particular Pack Out. And then they've got this system on the bottom, so if you're into the Pack Outs, you can actually make them kind of modular and stack them and snap them together and, you know, go crazy. So I often use these guys when I'm carrying stuff that I don't necessarily want to be squished. And then one of my favorites, and I actually had a comment or request that I do something with Veto Pro Pac. This one's empty at the moment, but I absolutely love this thing because of the tool storage. If you've never used a Veto, super high quality, kind of expensive. They are doing more with their zippers now. I don't know, these are kind of like no names. They should be YKK zippers. That's probably the best in the world, although believe it or not, there is a zipper cartel that kind of limits, you know, what people can use and how much they charge. Super efficient as far as tool storage, double-sided on this one. You can get a whole bunch of different models of this. This is an older one. This is the Veto Pro Pack is the brand, and this is the XL tool bag. Lots of great storage on both sides, so you can kind of divide things up. There is enough room. You can, you know, still wedge a drill in here. The problem with this is if I fill it, it's 50-some pounds at least. So it's easy to overdo it, and you can pack them to the gills. But as far as working with it, and this folds down and snaps, you can use it in a lot of different environments and still have full access to your tools. I mean, even if it's raining or something, you can just open it a little bit. It's not, you know, like gate mouth. It's showing the whole world what's on the inside. And they make a lot, the Veto company, or Veto Pro Pac makes a lot of specialized ones for different kinds of particular technicians. And they're, you know, when you get one dialed in, I mean, it's wonderful. But again, they're on the expensive side. But anyway, these are some of my tool solutions in addition to the kind of standard toolboxes. And I keep all of them because I use them for a whole bunch of different uses, different jobs, different purposes. And oftentimes it's not just tools. I use them for, I might get a dedicated one for, say, my tile saw, and then I've got all the blades and wrenches and everything that goes with that. And then I have another for one of my chainsaws, or, you know, some of my Milwaukee tools. I'll set those up so everything is in there, whatever it is. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. And with that, Doc out.